Newsflash, or not really. Okay, it's more like common knowledge here in Idaho. Californians, and a lot of them, have moved to Idaho. And while Idaho as a whole has really seen a lot of growth over the past several years, well, Idaho has really been steadily growing for the past 20 years. So even though it might feel at times like this has all just happened overnight, it's actually been happening for quite some time. And yep, a lot of new Idahoans moved here from California. And well, I for one can't blame them. In fact, there are so many people leaving California for places such as Idaho that California's Governor Newsom imposed an exit tax that must be paid by residents and businesses who relocate outside of the Sunshine State.
Seriously?
Seriously.
So, well, that's certainly saying something, isn't it? Anyhow, there's no two ways around it. Moving can be hard.
I hate moving.
So if you are considering leaving California to come live in Idaho, here are 5 things you should definitely know. Hi there, I'm Marcie Ellison, a local real estate agent here in the Boise, Idaho area. And if this is your first time visiting our channel and you are looking to learn everything there is about living, breathing, working, playing, raising a family, really just doing all the things in the booming Boise, Idaho area, then this channel is for you. We post videos every single week that range from neighborhood tours to pros and cons to what's happening in our local real estate market to even jog vlogs around neighborhoods. We really cover it all. So if you would like to continue learning all about our booming area right alongside of us, please take 2 seconds to hit that little subscribe button. Not only does it help us to grow our channel and it will help us to stay connected to you, but it also kind of gives us a little pat on the back and inspires us to keep on filming.
And it makes us happy.
Okay, let's dive into today's topic, which is a tricky and sometimes just kind of downright thorny one. Because while Idaho is, and I will stand by this statement fervently, Idaho is incredibly friendly. Idahoans are some of the friendliest people you will find across the country. And am I biased? Well, of course I am, but it's also the truth. And no, my opinion isn't going to be changed by some negative Nancy's blowing up the comment section. If you saw an Idaho's full bumper sticker or a Facebook group post that you didn't like, well, one person's opinion certainly doesn't represent the vast majority of personalities and dispositions that you will find here. Okay, so I went off on a little bit of a tangent there, didn't I? Anyhow, while Idahoans are some of the nicest and friendliest people you'll ever meet, well, just like any longtime locals in just about any area that has seen a significant amount of growth, well, there's undeniably some negative sentiments flying around in regard to Californians turned Idahoans. But, you know, if you are considering leaving California for another state, well, you're likely going to experience that same initial anti-hoopla and sentiment just about anywhere you go.
People are weird, aren't they?
So, while my family and I did not move here from California, some of our absolute closest friends and neighbors, as well as past clients turned friends, well, they sure did. And they are, across the board, very happy to be here. But were there some growing pains when they initially made that move? Yes indeed. So, let's talk through them. I'm going to lay out the top words of advice from former Californians turned Idahoans. Things that A, they wish they had done faster, or B, things that really took them by surprise when they first got here. And hey, if you have something to add to this list, and that really applies to whether you're a current or former Californian, or really are from another state altogether, so Texas, Oregon, Washington, Arizona, wherever it may be, don't be shy. We'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section. Okay, first up, if you are moving to Idaho from California, right up there on your top to-do list for things to do once you arrive in the Gem State, right along with having your mailing address and utilities switched over, and of course getting your kiddos enrolled at schools, well, put get to the DMV for new license plates right up there near the top, because, well, that is something, my friend, you're going to want to do stat. While there was a time, for me anyhow, but this might age me a bit or maybe just label me as a country bumpkin, but anyhow, there was a time that California plates were deemed as just being pretty darn cool, with images of surfboards, crashing waves, and ridiculously bougie yet very impressive McMansions. Well, anyhow, today in Idaho anyhow, your California plate is now synonymous with,
Look, I'm new here.
or even worse.
I'm the problem.
So yeah, be sure to get those swapped out just about as quickly as you can. Okay, now let's move on to number 2. While yes, there might be some things you discover that you miss about being in California. I mean, for one, Idaho is landlocked. So nope, we don't have the ocean and well, we never will. But try not to wax poetically about the things that you do miss about California, even if it's only a few of them. Because, well, not only will you likely be met with some death stares, but also likely a large wave of comments such as,
"Why did you come here then?"
Or this one.
"Then why don't you move back home?"
Or potentially even this one.
Shut up! Just shut up!
So yeah, just maybe trust me on this one. Now, let's talk about number 3. Here in Idaho, well, Idahoans love and cherish small government. So what do I mean by that? Well, one great example is that here in Idaho, if you ride a motorcycle and just flat out don't want to wear your helmet, well, you don't have to. Will I, as well as many other people driving around you going 80 miles per hour on I-84, think you're crazy and perhaps even a bit nuts? Yes, but do we expect our government to punish you for your failure to protect your own well-being by wearing a helmet? Nope. Just flat out, our government won't intervene, and neither will your lack of helmet.
Wear a helmet.
And on this note, unlike what many former Californians turned Idahoans have shared with us about their experience living in California, well, most Idahoans do not believe that society is to blame for all criminal activity. Nope. In Idaho, where we hold our police in high regard and truly respect our men in blue and women too, one of my favorite mom friends is actually a local cop right here in Meridian, but I digress. Anyhow, here in Idaho, well, people are responsible for their own actions.
Hey, don't do the crime if you can't do the time.
On this note, we also experienced a very different environment back in 2020 and 2021 when the pandemic was at its peak. In Idaho, our schools, churches, parks, really all the things reopened far earlier than most other states. And that's especially true compared to states such as California or Oregon. And when we did we see a spike in COVID cases? Yes, we did. Did that cause Idaho to close everything back down again? No, it didn't. And the reason for that is that by and large, Idahoans are very protective of their individual rights and largely continue to vote in such a manner. As such, our state remains very much in the small government bucket. Okay, on to number 4. Here in Idaho, well, Idahoans love the Second Amendment. It's just flat out pretty much woven into the state. Idahoans embrace the right to bear arms with a passion that, well, kind of mirrors the rugged beauty of our state. The right to bear arms is not merely a legal provision here. It's really more like a cherished tradition, one that is often passed down through generations. Whether it's annual firearm festivals, the camaraderie you see at shooting ranges, or the sight of families teaching their kids responsible gun ownership, or fathers walking their kids through hunter safety classes. Guns are a strong part of Idaho. And right along with that, Idahoans openly celebrate their right to self-defense, and that's really a strong part of Idaho's identity. So, while most Californians arrive being fully aware that Idaho is an open carry state, well, once here they discover that, that there is open carry and then there is open carry. If seeing a good old boy walk by you while you're having lunch in the village of Meridian or while you're checking out at Albertsons with your kiddos, if that is going to unnerve you, well then you're going to have to brace yourself because living in Idaho will mean that you will experience just that. If you are curious to learn more about how Idaho's gun laws compare to other states, I will put a link to an interactive resource that's very interesting to check out. I'll put that link in the description of this video. Last thing I will say about this one, for many Idahoans, the Second Amendment is not only about owning a firearm, but also really symbolizes a deep-rooted commitment to both personal freedom and our God-given rights. And then of course, well, Idaho is all about the Wild West mentality. So the Second Amendment also serves as a connection to the spirit of the American frontier. So if you are anti-gun and are eyeballing Idaho,
That could be a problem. For you.
okay, so number 5. Now, this one, just a heads up, I guess, this one makes me see red. And again, I didn't move here from California, but well, it irked me growing up in Eastern Oregon, and it still irks me now as a proud Idaho resident. Let's talk about public land management and how important it is that citizens preserve our public land. And if you don't want to, then please, just straight out, maybe pick another state.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Yes, seriously.
One of the things we love about living in Idaho is all of our vast stretches of public open land. And that abundance of open land is just really a haven for outdoor enthusiasts. And because of how much residents love our public land, well, what comes with love? passion. And when people are passionate about something, that passion can spark heated and sometimes just downright fiery debates. Striking a balance between conservation, recreation, and resource extraction can be incredibly challenging. So just know that living in Idaho will mean that there will almost always be ongoing discussions, debates, and policies around our public spaces and resources.
Sometimes they're good and sometimes they're less good.
So top of mind, currently there are a couple of billionaire brothers out of the state of Texas who have bought up tens of thousands of acres across the state, landlocking many longtime landowners and closing off access to thousands of acres of open public land for hunting and outdoor recreation. This is a big issue and one that many Idaho hunters, as well as outdoor enthusiasts, are strongly opposed to and very upset about having seen happen. This example, in turn, is hopefully going to effectively change how government-owned and public land is preserved and protected going forward. And on this note, but slightly different, but still on the same note, if you're the type to throw a wrapper out your window going down the freeway, opposed to being a decent human being and waiting and just throwing it in your trash once you get to your garage, well then, maybe again, pick another state. That's my pet peeve.
There. I said it.
So there you have it, 5 things you should definitely know to do or plan not to do or just flat out be aware of prior to moving to Idaho. My husband Andy and I and our very down-to-earth and low-pressure team receive phone calls, texts, and emails from people just like you, people who are just looking to learn more about what living in Idaho is really like. Whether you are considering moving in a month or heck, maybe 2 years down the road, jot down our phone number or our email address so that when you're ready, we can get connected and we can help you out. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button so you can see future videos when they come out. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.